Okay, so this is for those of us who have children. So you have children and you're wondering, so who takes top priority? Who comes first? My spouse or my children? And how does that really play out? Without a doubt, our spouse comes first, right? I mean, by virtue of the fact that we do life with our spouses, to love and to hold, till death do us part. We do life, we craft life with our spouses. It's the two of us becoming one. So if the two of us are one, it means that we should work together, right? To parent. We should work together first off before we're able to craft what our home values are, how we'll go, what we will do, how we'll live our lives, how everything else is done, right? So it must be clear to the children who comes first. It must be clear to our spouse that he or she comes first. Evident. And it must be clear also to the children that this is the scheme of things. This is the way things are supposed to be done. It reminds me of the picture you see of the man on the donkey, and people are saying to him, "Oh, the donkey is tired. What a wicked man! The donkey should. Why should you be riding the donkey? Can't you see the donkey is tired?" Then he comes down and carries maybe the donkey, and people are, "What rubbish?" So at the end of the day, there are different ways of doing a thing, different opinions. But what is the right way? And what document are we going to follow? What value system are you submitted to? Where are you going to look to find out how to go, what to do? In this matter of who comes first, who do we listen to? We're Christians. We're followers of the Lord Jesus, so we follow the dictates of the Bible. We follow how the Bible says we go. Yes. Also, I have learned the hard way that no matter what, when you don't push the cart before the horse. So you do things right. You follow the right sequence, the right order of things. When you do everything else line. Okay? I noticed, for instance, that when I put my husband first, he's more open. He's more open to do everything else with us. He's more open to integrate, to be part of everything that goes on. Chores, what have you, training the children, being hands-on with the children, being hands-on with me, his wife, being hands-on with everything else. Now, my husband has always been participatory, but there is participation out of duty and there's participation out of desire to be part of it. There's participation out of intentionality. I just want to be part of this. I want to, out of the fact that you're feeding off, as in, it does something for you. It fulfills you to be participatory, to be in the mix. Okay, so, and the children are watching this. They see the scheme of, the order of things. They see how the order of things works. They see that, oh, daddy comes first. So you carry, now, I would say you carry your husband along or you carry your spouse along. But it's even better than that. You work with your spouse, because carrying your spouse along gives the impression that you have it all put together in your head. Then you just carry him along, or carry her along. No. Carrying, in my situation as a wife, what I do is work with my husband. Submit to my husband, work with my husband, defer to my husband. Then from thence we plan our lives. From thence we decide what to do. But I don't run off with him not knowing what I'm doing, not understand, not having an idea what I'm doing, where I'm going, and then expect him to understand. Now, I know that out there in secular, what you will hear is, oh, you get married. When you get married, your husband, you give you're both in love. butterflies and all of that, then the children start to come. And then when the children start to come, the butterflies wane. And then as they wane, everybody accepts it as the way of things. And then you live like that until you get older, until you're older. The children leave home, and then you have each other again, and then it depends on what is left of your relationship. You take it from there. Now, a lot of people take that and live with it, but there are those who do not want to live with that, who don't want that kind of situation, who want a better way, and that is not necessarily how God planned it. Because if you look at statistics, you see children leaving home, and then all of a sudden the spouses are the couple, are strangers to themselves. You understand? So you don't want that situation. If you're a stranger to yourself, you've been strangers to yourselves for how many years? In all of that, some measure of resentment would have set in here both ways, either way. To now work at it and bring it all back together. Sometimes even after the children have left, you have certain businesses that you've built up to a certain point that you still give a lot of your attention to, which is not altogether by itself a bad thing. But it would have been different if you played it right earlier on. So for those of us who are still at that stage where we're still working on things, and then even if you're at that stage where you've finished, where you're done and you're retired and you're facing these things, it helps you to know where you went wrong. When you know where you went wrong, then it's easier to begin to work your way towards a restoration, towards restoring things to proper working order. Oh, even if it starts by having a conversation with your spouse to say, hon, wow, we got it wrong all the time. So sorry, I paid too much attention to the children. Sometimes it's the woman paying too much attention to the children. Sometimes it's the man paying too much attention to the children. Or the man paying too much attention to his job. Or the woman paying too much attention to her job. So which comes first? Where's your priority? What I've learned is that what you spend most of your time doing is where your priority is. Yes, fine. We spend a lot of time, we spend 8 to 5 on our jobs. We spend most of the time on our jobs and then come home. So are you saying that because I have a job, or that my job is more important, that that I should do better? How do I? That's not what we're saying. What we're saying, since you spend that much time on your job, the more reason you should make the culture to buff, to help the system, to spend good quality time with your spouse, so that when you have, but after having done the need, then you have to go away on the job. He doesn't resent the job, nor does he resent your children. And yes, there's such a thing as to resent the time. They don't resent the time. The amount of time you spend with the children, leaving them none of your time. So they feel, we got married for a reason, and all of a sudden, we got married to have you and be with you, to have you be with us, and then now you're married. Then now you're married to us, and you don't even want us. So people feel that there are women who get married because they just want to have children. Oh, so that's the situation. Now she has children. She doesn't really care for me. She never really cared. All she wanted was children. So she acted the part until the children came along. Now the children are here, I really don't mean much anymore. And really, if you look in our society and beyond, you will see a bit of that, something that looks like that. Like eventually they start to do omugwo. In Nigeria, they start to do omugwo. That's what we do. When your children, after they get married, start to have children, the mother usually goes over to help nurse the baby until the baby is weaned, or up to a certain point. And usually that responsibility goes to the mother. So it's almost like, hardly have they left home that we can start to bond again. Shortly after that, you still have to go again and begin to do omugo for one child after the other child after the other child. Begin to nurse your grandchildren, or to help to wean your grandchildren. So some do it upwards of 3 months, some do it for just a month, some do it for 2 weeks. It just depends on the parties involved. So there's a lot of resentment going on amongst the men, or amongst the women, as the case may be, where their husbands spend all their time at work, and after work they go to hang out with the boys, maybe. It happens even amongst Christian brothers. They hang out with the boys. They're not drinking and slushing or anything. They're just hanging out with themselves, with each other, and living a resentful wife at home, feeling, did I marry you not to have you around? Yes, so where does our priority lie? Who comes first? Who comes first? Where you spend most of your time. Where you spend most of the time is where indeed your priority lies. Because it can be all in your head. Oh, I love my spouse so much. Oh, he means the world to me. But in actual nitty-gritty daily living, you're not spending time with this person. You spend most of your time, all your time doing this and that and that. So if you know you have a job that takes a lot of your time, when you do have time with your spouse, you'd better make it something to remember. Make it worth it. Make the memory linger. Make it fulfilling. Make it last. Make the feeling last. Make the memory last. For a bit until the next time. And of course, plan these things. Schedule these things. Plan them. Schedule them. Put a time, date to them. And make them worth it. Before you have a spouse on your hands who feels resentful. And that resentment can be with the children. Let me say this. When you do not put the cart before the horse and you have things in proper working order, your children, you're sending a message to your children. You're showing your children how things ought to be done. So you're passing the baton to your children. Christian values baton to your children, saying to them, this is how it's done. That's one. Then secondly, you have a happy spouse, a fulfilled spouse who's willing to do stuff with you, who's willing to love up with the children, who's willing to work with the children, who's willing to engage with every nitty-gritty in your home. And the children see that. Unlike when you have a resentful spouse who now carries over that resentment and then is always bickering with the children, is always doesn't give the children time. They begin to see daddy as a monster. And then they begin to hurt, they begin to all manner of things, which you could have done without if you had learned to put things in the proper order, prioritize what order first. I hope this is to someone.